Hey, I will give you this target's name, but I know you haven't heard it before. He ain't even famous yet. But shit, he about to be. Some sick, degenerate trust fund kid who fucks up people's lives for fun. He spiked girl drinks, done hit and runs, assaults, man, you name it. And then he paid his way out of all that shit. And now he want to do some reputation management so he can buy his way into being the next big pop star. He got a label and a song that's all paid and bought for. He got an ad space and social media campaign ready to fucking go. He's all set to scoop a #1 single when it drops next week. Now I know what you're thinking. Another manufactured pop star. So what? Who cares? Well, our client works at the record label, and he got some nice intel. The label sunk everything they got into this little son of a bitch. And if he has an accident, not only will the world be a better place, but the label fixing to go bankrupt. And our client just bet against them big. So look, we make the stock crash, our clients get some zeros added onto their bank account, and we get a slice of the motherfucking pie. Now let's go put this little evil motherfucker in the wrong kind of headlines.
I think that the interview we had yesterday with Tulsi Gabbard has made a lot of news. And it's really because Tulsi did such a brilliant job, our D&I director did a brilliant job of laying out what exactly she declassified. And Charlie and Griff, I just think we can't overstate what a scandal this is. This might be the biggest political scandal of our lifetime, bigger than Watergate, by the way. And she just declassified the proof that this was actually a coup.
That's right.
By Barack Obama and his buddies.
Yeah, and arguably she's highlighting arguably the biggest political scandal in storm of a decade, accusing the Obama administration of manufacturing the Russian election interference narrative against Trump in 2016. Yeah, Madeline Rivera has this story. Good morning, Maddie.
Good morning. D&I Tulsi Gabbard is accusing former President Obama and his intelligence community of politicizing intelligence to lay the groundwork for what she calls a years-long coup against President Trump. Gabbard says declassified documents show the days leading up to the November 26 election, intelligence officials consistently stated Russia is probably not trying, nor have the capability to influence the election by using cyber means. Their tune, she says, changed after the election, and she specifically brings up a December 9th, 2016 meeting among Obama intelligence officials, including former D&I James Clapper, John Brennan, and former National Security Advisor Susan Rice. After that meeting, Clapper's executive assistant sent an email to intelligence leaders tasking them to create a new assessment for Obama's request about the tools Moscow used to influence the 2016 election.
He directed a manufactured piece of intelligence that detailed not if, but how Russia tried to influence the outcome of the United States election that President Trump won in November of 2016.
Gabbard says she's referring the documents to the Justice Department.
We're referring all of our documents to the Department of Justice for the purpose of accountability and action. No one, no matter who they are, no matter how high up they are, or how powerful they may be, no matter who the intelligence officials or professionals were who were part of this treasonous conspiracy, there must be accountability.
Democrats, for their part, are rejecting Gabbard's accusations. They say a report released by the Republican-led Senate Intelligence Committee back in 2020 detailed Russia's effort to interfere in the election to benefit President Trump. Social media was cited as a big tool in that campaign. The report, though, concluded there was no evidence any votes were changed or that voting machines were manipulated. Charlie Weazel.
Thanks, Maddie.
Yeah.
It really is amazing when you go through what she laid out for us yesterday and you compare it, go back with the timeline to real time to what Barack Obama was saying publicly, what James Comey was saying, what all of these people who helped perpetuate this hoax were saying to the public, but also testifying under oath to Congress versus what they were saying behind closed doors in these now released memos.
Rick, does the President Obama, and we talked about it with Director Gabbard yesterday, that this goes all the way to the top, and she said, well, I'm not in charge, it goes to the DOJ. and they decide, but does he have presidential immunity in this? And then everybody else is going to be stuck holding the bag here?
Well, that's a great question, and I'm not a lawyer, but clearly one would think that if Pam Bondi decides to go after former President Barack Obama, you will see a lot of presidential executive privilege defenses. But it was a great question when you asked Tulsi Gabbard about specifically how high it should go, because we know, and as Maddie was reporting, look, this was Obama's intelligence apparatus, the DNI, the NSA, choosing to omit intelligence that they had, that Russia was not involved, to create a narrative, to manipulate and politicize this information that led to the years-long Russia hoax. And so when she was talking about accountability, she says that, look, this shouldn't even be a partisan issue.
No, it shouldn't.
When you talk about Americans' trust in their government institutions and their highest top leaders. Listen here.
It's not a Democrat or Republican issue. This is an issue with such significant impact that it should concern every American, because it has to do with the fabric and integrity of our democratic republic. There was a Mueller investigation that went on for years, cost taxpayers nearly $40 million. There were 2 congressional impeachments. President Trump and almost every member of his family were smeared and attacked, faced lawsuits, depositions. High-level officials were investigated, some were arrested and put in jail. The list goes on and on about the ramifications of this, but foundational to it all was the fact that we had in President Obama and his leadership team people who did not want to accept the will of the American people in electing Donald Trump in 2016, and therefore cooked up this treasonous conspiracy to, again, try to effectively, and they did effectively, launch a years-long coup against the sitting President of the United States.
Treasonous.
So
treasonous conspiracy. You know, the last time I heard the word treason was in history, Benedict Arnold. Can I ask you a question? Will the New York Times and all those people that got Pulitzer Prizes over Russia, they have to return now? I mean, I'm not saying that in a joking way. Now that the documents prove that this truly is up, I mean, they could pretend before, but now we have the proof that it was a hoax.
They'll never apologize because they're so committed to it. And we didn't even get into that marvelous interview with Tulsi Gabbard yesterday. We didn't even get into the whole part of it, which is the media involvement in it, because they very purposefully knew exactly how they could manipulate the media, Washington Post, New York Times, to get the stories that they wanted out there. And they did it brilliantly, actually, but you don't even have to do it brilliantly when the New York Times and the Washington Post and the rest of the media that went along with this was so in bed with them and so eager to push this false narrative. 2 things. One is that a lot of people's lives were destroyed by this hoax. And there are a lot of people that you've never heard of whose lives were destroyed by this because of this intelligence junta that went after their political enemies. And those people should be they should be made whole again. Then the third thing is that does Obama pay a price for this? Well, the new norms are that apparently you do arrest the former president. You do go after the former president. You charge the former president with whatever you want. And apparently executive privilege goes out the window now. That's the new norm that these people created for us. So I don't want to hear any
interesting, Charlie, because Donald Trump specifically said that he, and we all saw it, he had a lot of restraint with Hillary Clinton.
Yes.
The last time, when she broke the law, he said, let's just put this behind us. After what they put Donald Trump through, I'm not sure the president's going to be quite as forgiving this time, because they made his life hell. And as you said, we have no idea, we don't even know the names of the people, on the tip of our tongue who lost their homes, they were investigated and they had to get lawyers.
And they've been arguing forever, respect the norms. The problem with Trump is that he doesn't respect the norms. Okay, well, we'll respect. I think you're the first person to call it an intelligence junta. It is. It's very highbrow.
We'll see if Barack Obama has such a cool mugshot.
I'm working on it. I'm Steve Ducey. I'm Brian Killian.
And I mean, Leah Harding.
He was beginning to mug up. But he don't make no motherfucking sense with what's going on. We allow them to do it. That's when I come to the shit. And they lied on me. All definitely a good big man. They turn.